I love action movies. Can't get enough of them. Whether they be stylized, sleek, hyper-violent films like the John Wick series, or the bombastic, sitting on the edge of your seat spectacles like the Mission Impossible franchise, or cape shit, I will gobble that shit up like Shia Hulud himself. So when I heard that Dev Patel was directing, co-writing, producing, and starring in a new film that also was produced by Jordan Peele, I started pissing blood with excitement. Now the film is finally out, and after seeing it twice now, I can confirm that this movie fucks harder than Johnny Sins. Jesus Christ, I can't believe I actually fucking wrote that. Mild spoilers for Monkey Man. I'm not gonna go into too much detail. I'm just gonna talk about some plot points and character stuff. So go watch it, come back here, and we can talk about it. Monkey Man is about a young underground fighter who makes a living off of getting his shit rocked by more popular fighters at a Fight Club-esque establishment every night. Seeking retribution for the murder of his mother, he uses that money to climb his way to the top of the city's seedy underbelly, targeting the city elites who ruined his life. Now on paper, this is your standard revenge action story. There are certain beats and moments you expect this story to hit, which it does, but in its execution, this film becomes so much more. This film ends up being an underdog story infused with this Indian mythology, giving a voice to the helpless, the outsiders, and the oppressed, while still being a badass revenge action movie at the same time. And that's all because of this guy right here. Dev Patel is the kind of actor who always brings 100% to every role he does. Personally, I've always viewed him as one of those actors who just elevates whatever film or project he's in. Yes, even that one. You can feel that passion in pretty much every role he's in, and it's never been more apparent than in Monkey Man. Patel's ambitious vision is executed with such confidence and poise that this might be one of the greatest directorial debuts I've ever seen. If you're at all following the production of this film, it's quite impossible to not know about how catastrophic the production was. Anything that could have gone wrong with making this movie absolutely did. Patel broke his hand, toes, and shoulder doing the action sequences. Their funding got pulled. Film cameras were broken, resulting in the use of iPhone and GoPro footage. Production companies completely dropped the project, locations were lost the day of arriving, and on and on and on and on. It seems like everything was set up against this movie and it was destined to fail. But Patel and his crew fought tooth and nail to get this thing made, and thanks to Jordan Peele, this film got a theatrical release. The more I heard about the behind-the-scenes catastrophes, the more excited I was to see this. Not because I expected it to be bad, not at all, but because I knew that this was going to be something special. Dev Patel's passion for action and filmmaking shines the absolute brightest in this film. You can feel the love, sweat, tears, and literal blood and broken bones he put into this movie. The film has a very scrappy, put together on a shoestring budget, grimy and disgusting kind of look to it, but not without style or beauty, and a rich and vibrant culture at the center of it all. And when you realize the film has a $10 million budget, your jaw falls to the floor, because how the actual fuck did a first-time director film action sequences this ambitious and make it look this good? The action is kinetic, brutal, scrappy, holds no punches, and is just animalistic. The scene where Patel's character puts a knife in his mouth and stabs someone in the throat with it, I mean, are you kidding me? Not only is the choreography Patel had to learn really impressive, but the camera work for these sequences, hell, the entirety of the film is on another fucking level. Every scene, Dev Patel and cinematographer Sharon Mier, sorry if I mispronounced your name, I'm so sorry, find new and creative ways to have the camera tell the story and put you in the shoes of the main character. Every choice used for where the camera is placed and how it moves is absolutely inspired and dripping with creativity. The jumpy editing and the shaky cam in a lesser movie would become very grating and nauseating, but here it just really works. It's used to put us in the character's headspace and amplifies everything he's feeling without saying a word of dialogue. Amongst the chaos and insanity, Patel doesn't forget to inject his film with some humanity, whether it be feeding a stray dog, showing the resilience of humanity through community and love, and unapologetically talking about social issues that force you to pay attention to what's happening in the real world, gives this film something that, to me, is the most important thing any film can have: heart. Now, is this film perfect? As much as I want it to be? No, not really. While the film overall looks and feels very impressive, there are certain spots in the film that aren't as polished as the rest of it. There are some janky and jarring edits and cuts throughout the film. Some of the action has distracting edits. It's especially noticeable in the fake oneers with all the hidden cuts, and normally that'd bother me, but I don't know, it just adds to the scrappy charm this film has, and it's clear even though it's a bit rough around the edges in some parts, you can tell that it was done the best that it could have been done with what they were given. I think the only action sequence that I just really did not vibe with was the car chase towards the middle. There are some cool shots in it, but overall, the lack of momentum for a majority of the sequence really brought it down for me. Probably the biggest criticism I have with this film is the inconsistent sound mixing. Some of the dialogue was mixed in so low, and for scenes that feel like they should be really important to hear, at worst, it just sounds like the characters are mumbling half the time. Certain sound effects that should feel loud and boisterous feel muffled and quieter than they should be. I think the worst example of this comes towards the end of the film when the crowd starts chanting for Monkey Man after he's beaten some guys in a fight. It's meant to feel victorious and uplifting, but it feels so awkward and stilted with how subdued it comes off. At first I thought it was my theater that was the issue, but I just came back from a second viewing at a completely different theater and it was barely better. It more or less felt the same. Now, does this ruin the movie? No, of course not. I just thought I'd mention it because as someone who works with sound, I gotta admit I found that aspect of the film rather disappointing. But even with the inconsistent sound mixing and editing, the visuals and Dev Patel's brilliant performance carried this film so much that it still delivers on the emotional moments and brutal action. Monkey Man should not have worked, period. It's a fucking miracle that it got made, let alone released into theaters. Originally, Netflix was gonna distribute this movie, but they dropped it for no reason, and for a while, it was orphaned, it was dead, until Jordan Peele came along. Against all odds, Dev Patel and the hardworking crew's passion for this film shines through, rising from the ashes and making it to the big screen where it deserves to be. Like his character, Patel fought against the elite executives of Hollywood who threw his film away to be forgotten. And yet, he came out on top. A true underdog story with a true underdog behind the camera. It's because of movies like this and creatives like Dev Patel that inspire me to keep making art and to fight as hard as I can to make it. They reminded me why I love film, why I love creating, why I love the arts, and how making movies is what I'm meant to do. I implore you all to go to the cinemas to see this. It deserves your money, it deserves your attention, and it deserves all the praise it's been getting. Speak with your wallets and show these big film studios that these are the kind of movies we want to see more of. And that's about it. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this movie. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it meh? Also, follow me on Letterboxd if you want to know more about my movie watching habits and see what I'm watching. It's a good time. It's fun. It's a silly app. All right, I'm done talking. Bye.